Hey, Mike, Paul Cundiff. Interestingly, you've got a self-bailer. We stopped and looked at the self-bailers on my show and tell board, and looky there, what somebody's done. They've closed they've put tape over there. I'm assuming it's over their suction breaker, their vacuum breaker. So, which would just be a hole. Looking at the tank, I would recommend that we change the tank. I would also recommend that we put in a fuel filter, water separating fuel filter. You've got some copper line going to a rubber line, which is probably not Coast Guard approved. I don't know, it could be, but could also be quite old. So I would suggest that we change those things for safety reasons, change the tank, and change the fuel lines. And we would add a water separating fuel filter that I don't see. I mean, we may actually find one in here, but I don't see one right now. So we were looking for a hull number, which really isn't all that important on this boat. On the Chris Crafts, there is an archive that, based on the hull number, we can get all kinds of information about the boats. But there, to my knowledge, there's not an archive of Mariner boats. So we wouldn't. My impression is that we're not going to be able to just call somebody and get details about your boat. So I'm not really worried about the hull number. But Connor does put that in our record. So if you have a HIN in some of your literature, your registration literature, we can go ahead and put the HIN in the record, and that can stay as a record with the boat. So we're so that's we're probably going to get started on it in the next day or two, because my engine guy is kind of in his own lane, and it doesn't depend on our varnish people or our woodworkers or anybody else. He can jump right in and start taking a look at this engine, which is what we want to do anyway. We want to find out what is going on with it, and what potential issues we might have with it that could be costly, and we want to do that before we start the rest of the work. So anyway, just I do want to get the bow stop. I'm going to go ahead with that, and to bow stop, there are two things. Oh, and loading guides. That way, when we take your boat to dip it at the lake, we don't struggle with this boat getting sideways on the trailer like the last boat we took to the lake that didn't have loading guides. So we need to add loading guides to that. I'll put a budget together for you on that stuff, and then I really won't worry about the budget on the other stuff until we know what's going on with the engine. All right, sir.